Hey friends, welcome back to 52 of my closest friends. I'm here with my close friend, Michelle Christian. What's up?
Hey everyone.
Okay, every time that I think I'm going to introduce you, I'm like, should I just, like, your name is Michelle. That's what I call you. But if we ever go anywhere and you put a reservation in, Christian, I got
Christian.
an order for Christian.
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 Like the religion,
Yep.
as I specify every time.
It's probably easier than specifying, though, like, it shouldn't be. Like,
No.
you do not have a difficult name, but
No.
like there are people. I tried to, yeah, but her name is Michelle Christian, like the religion.
So if you know my first name and you're at any of those local restaurants, thank you.
Yeah,
Because you've done right.
yeah.
Otherwise, it's Christian.
Because there's some of them they can't handle it. They should be able to. They shouldn't. We're sitting in her living room right now, and we were kind of working through some of the questions, and usually I start with like, how do you know each other? And we don't know the origin story.
Not at all.
We just work together, but like not even together.
No. At the same facility.
Yeah,
Twice.
yeah, in like two different capacities.
We were grown the
Yeah.
second time.
Well, you know what? I feel like the first time around, I was hardly ever there, so I would always just see you coming in and out when you were grabbing people's keys. But like we were like friendly in the old building.
Mm-hmm.
But then the new building, you switched and started working with healthy initiatives, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know, we just talked to each other.
Talked. Was I still at the front desk?
I don't think so.
When we were at the old building?
When you were at the old building, you were at the front desk. But then you switched and went to like Team 13 stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like I didn't
years.
even do Team 13 at that time.
Mm-mm. You were just always volunteering.
I just was always volunteering.
Told.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's the rules. I've realized so many of these connections all have a very similar origin story. And I can't dog on it too much because I still have love and care for people who are there.
Absolutely. And I still frequent myself.
I pay there. I pay to be there.
I pay now, and it hurt.
It does.
8 years of not paying.
Well, I'm just over that threshold where I will. Well, I don't know what the threshold is, but I know that I recently switched from like young adult to adult, and I was like, "Oh,
Ooh.
that's disrespectful."
When I finally hit that adult, I said, "Oh, okay." That's when I really knew. I was like, I
Yep.
should probably still work here, but it was okay.
Well, and I was like, I watched it, like it comes out before I see my paycheck, so it really doesn't feel like I'm paying for it. But then when I like look at my pay stub, I'm like, I should be there more often than what I am because of how much money I'm paying to this establishment.
Literally just said that.
Yeah.
Should we talk about what the facility name is?
The facility name, yeah. The facility is the YMCA.
The good old YMCA.
The YMCA.
Longevity.
We both were there for a real long time, just in like different capacities. I feel like after I switched and I became the enrichment director, I would be in the play and learn or the child watch, whatever you want to call that. And you would come through to go work out, and you would always stop in and talk to me.
Boy, I yap.
And you know what? I remember thinking, like, I guess we're friends. Like, I knew that we were friends, but I think that there's a difference between somebody like walking by and just waving and being like, excited. Like, no, you'd come in there and like throw your duffel up on the counter, and we would just like,
We were.
like literally we just found a way and like a reason to like yap with each other. And I think like we're still kind of doing that.
I think so. It's just not as often.
No.
Now it's more random.
No. And then when we worked together the second time, we were in like super close quarters with one another.
I enjoyed it.
It was great. You were with Trails.
Evansville Trails.
Yeah.
With good old Lori.
Yep. And I had just started working at the city.
Mm-hmm.
And Trails used to have an office in the Parks Department for people who don't know.
And Lori and I shared quarters forever.
The smallest little offices. There was these two full-grown women, like both with master's degrees, sitting in these little bitty offices together. Little bitty.
In the second office where when you started,
Yeah.
was actually bigger.
That's right. Yeah.
We were just on opposite ends of the room.
Y'all were in the cave. Well, you like got me that job. Do you remember that?
I did. I don't know how.
It was about 3 years ago, and I was starting to stress because I had left the YMCA with no plan, with the plans that I had foiled, and you were like, "Hey, I got a job for you."
Yeah, you texted me. It was like, "I'm taking a brief time off," and I said, "Oh,
yeah.
Are you like wanting to work again?" Because like, you know, money's needed, but you had situated yourself in a way that you could have that month off. So I was like, "But I got you, girl. I'm gonna get you a job."
And let me tell you,
I know some people.
I walked in on I don't think I've, not that it's like that important. I walked in on the first day and was like, this ain't for me. This is not happening. I went home that night and was like, I have to get a new job. It wasn't hard.
Really?
Yeah. It was just so different than anything that I had done before. And
you were always working with children.
Yeah, I'd always worked with kids and doing programming. This was like handling like income for the parks department. Those were two different things. And had it not just been my like glowing personality, like I left that interview and Janet and whoever it was that interviewed with me, she's not there anymore.
Yeah.
They were like, I want to be her friend. I think that's literally why they hired me. Not because of the qualifications. Also, the job had been sitting there for a hot minute. Yeah.
I did not know that you were not feeling it.
No, it like, I needed, like I literally needed the paycheck. Like I had no options other than to like stay because I had that month off of work.
Yes.
And, I was just dying. I was like, no, I need this job. It was not great though. But then
it wasn't attractive. I'll tell you that.
No.
Because I was like, I'm gonna send her this job description and
even the dollar signs, I was like,
I know. I was like, it's a pay cut.
But the benefits, honestly, there was not much of a dollar. I mean, there was some dollar difference, but it wasn't significant like what I thought that it was going to be. That just happened to be the year where gas prices stayed above $3 and groceries started to go up by like 20-something%.
Absolutely.
I was Googling electric bikes because I was like, I can't afford gas.
Well, lucky at the trails, we had bikes.
You did. Yeah.
Just not not electric. Lori wouldn't have approved of electric bikes.
Man, I think
being the active transportation liaison that I was.
She'd have been like, no, you're pedaling to work every day. I was considering it because it was so expensive. No, I remember like that first week was just really hard because it was just a whole different environment. Like I had been with the same place for like 5 years.
Absolutely.
And now I was somewhere different. And we were talking about this earlier. I didn't know anybody's personalities. I just knew you. And I was like really thankful that you were there. And it was my second day. We're sitting there. I'm getting instructions from our friend Fallon on how to do this job. You're talking.
Fallon.
Hi, Fallon. And your boss, now one of like my favorite people, comes walking through with her sunglasses on, hair in the wind, like CEO boss babe looking, and
that hair is a paid actor. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Nobody got hair like Lori.
Noticeable, like across the world, you would catch that hair. And she just comes in with her little self, and she says, "Y'all gonna get in trouble." And I was like, oh, so that's what it's like around here. Okay. So like I was like, well, I guess we're not talking because we weren't even being obnoxious.
No, I feel like my face was literally probably like, oh.
Yep. And then we separated, and I was like, well, I guess this is how it's gonna be. And then probably I don't remember it, but I bet 20 minutes later she came out there and was just like, well, why'd you stop talking?
Literally.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to talk.
I wanted to talk. I wanted to do that.
Y'all didn't have to get up.
You're probably right. That's probably what she said. I don't know. I'm glad I pushed through that first week.
I'm glad too, because look at you now.
I know.
I wish I had stayed a little longer.
But I think you got what you needed.
Yeah, I definitely skills that I still hold to this day came from Lori in that role.
You know, she may or may not listen to these because if you know her, she will listen to every single one of these in one sitting, or she will never listen to them. But
either one.
I credit so much of my personal and professional growth to her influence in my life. She is just a remarkable person, and she
Absolutely.
cares so much. Like, we both know, having supervisors that you can go to and say, hey, I'm looking to change my career, and they're willing to look at your resume and be a reference for you and walk through that. That's who she is.
And
like,
exactly what she did for me.
She's just an incredible human.
Never been supported so much until recently again.
Yeah.
With my current role.
Yeah. Like, there's just something, and I don't know that she fully sees it in herself, because I think it's just who she is as a person. She has moments where she definitely, like, she's that the big hair and the big ego make a moment, but she also has the ground to stand on those things.
Absolutely.
Like, incredibly qualified as a human. And so the fact that you all, or the Trails Coalition, is not in our office anymore makes me so sad, because
And we got the Complete Streets
that's right, you did.
ordinance passed.
Yeah.
Within the first year of me being there. So, yeah. Kudos to her for, I guess, training me up.
You all did, like, you did so much. Like, we're so effective. I wasn't going to bring that up, and I don't even like to talk about people's careers on here, because I do so much of that in my personal life. Like, I care so much about careers.
I've worked a lot of places.
But I do think there are people I know across town that have been like, why do we have these sidewalks everywhere? Why? And I'm like, oh, I'll tell you why. Because my friend Michelle worked her tail off to get our streets to where they are fully accessible for people, whether they're on foot, on bike, or in a car, or on a city bus. And I think that the people who understand the work that goes into that are so thankful for it. I'm sure that if you are on Walnut and you live on Walnut, the last 3 years have been terrible.
Absolutely. I mean, no one wants to live in a construction zone down to the bare bottoms.
No.
But at the same time, we needed, as you know, working for the city, we also needed new, help me out here. What is it? Sewer lines.
All the new sewer lines.
The bill was passed right in time. So nothing was retroactive. Everything was just moving forward.
And
so anytime any of that construction was happening, they also had to abide by that and make it a complete street within reason.
Well, and something that I was unaware of, but like across Evansville, there's been these like pockets of like completely ripping up the road and putting it back in, and people are like, why are we doing that? It's because our sewer system is as old as the city itself.
We were paying a fine for so long.
We were behind on qualifying for grants and receiving federal and state funding. And sure, the roads need improvements, but
Absolutely.
I also like the Terry administration. She's doing a great job. Like,
absolutely. Let's give a shout out to
You know what?
Miss Mayor Terry.
Mayor.
I got to put a miss in front of it.
Miss Mayor Terry.
Yes.
Doing such a great job.
Absolutely.
And like her focus on safety includes roads. Like, this is not just, adding it's extra cameras and lights to places, but like what does full safety look like? And
it encompasses all.
Yeah.
And that's what she's been doing within a year.
Yeah.
So let's keep in mind she's been in for a year, and this will be the start of year 2. So
yeah, it's like we're recording this episode in January. She was inaugurated a year and some days ago, and I can tell you, working for their administration, we're all still learning. Like, we're always learning on our jobs, but the focus that they have been able to put on just doing the work and putting the right people in to get the job done, like, really incredible.
Absolutely.
And so,
and I love seeing the women in charge.
I do too.
I love going to the Civic Center and looking at women doing a male-dominant role.
Oh, for sure.
Especially in our town.
Yeah.
Here. If you're not familiar with Evansville, it's not common. So.
No. Well, and her being also not just the first woman mayor, and I know we've been talking about this since she was running. Like, she's the first woman mayor and first African-American mayor.
We put emphasis on a woman of color as in office in Evansville, Indiana.
In Evansville, Indiana. Like, I
never thought I would see it in my own lifetime.
It really shows you, one, what happens when you put good, like, women leaders in position to like lean into those roles, because people are going to complain.
Yeah.
She wasn't in office a month last year, and I don't get on Facebook and argue with people near as much as probably what I did 10 years ago. She had been in office maybe a month, and somebody commented and said something about her being like a failure. And I was like, excuse me. She's been here for 3 weeks.
Literally.
She hasn't even had time to sit down at her desk and figure out what she's supposed to be doing.
She hasn't even hired anybody.
No, like she doesn't know. But I said, like, and other people like kind of jumped in and piggybacked. But one of the things that I noticed was how supportive her team was at SEMO and the transition of getting behind her. That tells me that they weren't like, all right, like, see you later, you know?
Or good riddance.
Yeah, it was no, I'm going to stand behind her and I'm going to support her. And the people who knew her intentions behind
any move that she ever will make or has made
is for the benefit of Evansville. And I think, and maybe this is me just speculating too much, I think that there are way too many white men that have landed where they have landed because, one, that they are a white man, but also like the expectation is very, very low for them. So them coming in and doing something, like, you're just like her team coming in and trying to do something, you're gonna make the other half mad immediately just because you're doing something. And
she's maneuvered that well due to her being on county council. And again, was the only person of color on county council.
And I can't speak to that, but I can say that it's brave living in Vandenberg County and putting yourself out there. And I'm sure what her family has faced, and just knowing, like, internally the work that, like, we have had to do with social media measures across because of how hateful people are. She, like, is, like, brave and courageous, and
every day
putting, like, I know, like, there's been, like, jokes for years about, like, me running for office and things like that. And maybe, I don't know, maybe one day. But, like, I don't know that I can handle the ridicule. Like,
yeah, I mean, it takes a special person. I always said, like, oh, I would run for EVSC because I feel like that's low on the totem pole. But at the end of the day, you're still running and you still have to campaign.
Oh, yeah.
And you're still putting yourself out there for the world to see, and they're gonna dig up anything they can for anything. You know, so a lot of new things are coming. We have a new superintendent coming in.
Yeah, we do.
You know,
yeah, we do.
Silent celebration on that front. I am very excited to follow that closely. I have a friend that works for the EVSC, so she's directly affected by all the decisions that have been made. And her department, she works as a behavior tech, so a lot of data and things are being pulled for the students, and sometimes the teachers and the administration just don't think that's important, but we all know that affects not only the teachers, the other students in the room, and importantly the child. So the data is needed. It's not unworthy of review, so I'm excited.
I think the timing is going to be really, really great, and I think the city of Evansville right now just has a bunch of momentum, and maybe that's because of where I sit in, like, my professional circles, but also, like, I feel like some of my social circles do overflow into my professional circles, and there's just, like, there are good people in positions of leadership right now.
There are.
And I don't know, I'm optimistic about it. I love Evansville. I'm not from here, but
well, I am. And I was one that did not move. So, and it's all for a reason. I feel like my time here is for a reason.
Yeah.
My roles that I've held are all for a reason. So I've just wanted to stay to give back to the community that raised me.
Yeah.
So
I think like the area that I grew up in obviously is a lot smaller than what this area is, but honestly, I would equate where I grew up to being, like, very akin to the counties that surround Vandenberg County. And so for people like myself who have, like, left my home, it's not even that I changed the demographic in which I live. Now, Evansville is different. Like, Evansville is very, like, the school systems are very different. The people that I interact with on a daily basis, very different than what it is back home. But, like, you're still leaving. Like, there's still that I'm taking myself and I'm removing it from what I knew to what I could know. And I think, you know, like, if I had stayed, if I had actually stayed, I don't know that I would be the person that I am today, because the world just looks a whole lot smaller. But I also think that Evansville, you have opportunities to change your perspective without having to, like, leave the city, you know?
Yes.
And
you just have to find that community.
yes, yeah. You have to find the people that don't look like maybe what the stereotypical, like, Vanderbilt County resident looks like.
No.
And it exists, like,
it is,
and it's like loud and it's proud and, like, are really giving, like, so much to the community as a whole, and not just, like, you know, pockets of town or whatever side of direction of town you live on.
No. And I do want to give a shout out to the YMCA, especially the downtown location.
Yeah.
Because there are skills that I talk to my friends about that we have gained that have just helped us in our careers, because we served such a wide demographic at the Y. You know, we have ranges of socioeconomic backgrounds that were coming through our doors, and just being able to maneuver and communicate with them, you just don't get that anywhere. You don't get that working at, you know, the country club or something like that. You know,
it's a different type of customer service. It's
it makes you slow down.
Yeah. I have said for years that the Y will either, like, make you or break you, for many reasons, but that exposure is something that maybe helped make me fall in love with Evansville, because, like, I'm not from here. Like, I didn't even technically go to college here. I just ended up in Evansville after graduating and moving to Nashville for 2 years and then coming back. But the programs that I was involved in and the demographic of people that we worked with, you know, like, that was, and I started the Y in Nashville, and that was a whole different exposure of individuals. Like, truly, I remember there was a moment where I was sitting in a room at a YMCA, like, meeting, and I was the only white person in this room.
Oh, wow.
And I had a moment of, I don't know that this has ever happened to me before. And it was a genuine eye-opening experience. And it just changed, you know, and I was able to have conversations with my staff, to ask questions and to, like, learn, because I didn't know, I didn't understand things. I mean, I'm still asking you questions.
Whereas I usually am the only black person in the room.
Yeah, you know, and it was different, and I think that it definitely helped to start to train my heart to look just through life with a different lens, you know, like, just with a different intentionality. And nowadays, I don't know that there are situations where I live in Evansville that I'm going to be the only white person in the room. But like you just said, that's a normal thing for you.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that it's normal.
Yeah.
But just in my field, because I graduated in healthcare administration, so I was usually the only. I will speak for Evansville. I was the only person of color in my classes, even, or if there was one other person, and you know, thank goodness for that other person, so we could bounce ideas off of. But you know, I have acclimated to that and can carry myself. But you know, I would love to see other people. If y'all are out there, call me, get in touch with Hannah so she can contact me, and I can get you in these rooms with me, because I just love connecting with people that are similar to me but aren't similar, you know. But also, we just need to have more people of color in rooms so we can help make decisions even. I
think the International, I can't get this right, the Immigrant Welcome Resource Center that is going in, or in the process of transitioning in, at the Goodwill facility.
I believe so, Green River.
Yep. So I'm on that advisory council.
Oh, awesome.
And when the first night we had like the initial meeting, we kind of all broke up into camps. And so, like, I moved in the direction of the communication world. And so I was sitting at this table with people who, like, there was one other, like, just, like, straight white woman sitting at this table, you know? Everybody else were people of color, and looking around the room at all these other committees, like, most of the other people in this room are people of color that represent, like, the immigrant communities that Evansville has. And
it's very diverse. The immigration, that sounded weird. What it is now versus even when I was in school. So say, like, I was in high school or in middle school, it's grown, or at least I just wasn't aware of that. And being in the community now, I'm so aware that we have a high population of Marshallese and Hispanic, Spanish speaking, Haitian Creole. And while I manage one of the community health care centers here, we actually were a site for refugees. So the Indiana Department of Health would have refugees move to Evansville. We would do their physicals for their immigration process, and they would come from Russia, they would come from the Ukraine, they would come from all over. So just knowing that they are here just warms my heart, because I just want them to feel welcome at all times.
Yeah.
But I would have never known that.
No, I think even sitting in that room that night, like, I was invited, you know, like, this wasn't I just showed up. Like,
yeah,
I was invited. I had 2 conversations with 2, like, leaders in the people of color culture of Evansville. But I was sitting there thinking, like, I just want to be a support for this. How is the best way for me to be a support with this? And I, that night, volunteered to be, like, the team lead for communication. And I got a week and a half in and realized, like, I can't be the team lead for this. Like, I can lead the team and give it instructions and do what needs to be done to have, like, the systematic portion taken care of. But it's through my lens as a white individual.
Yeah.
And I just had this moment of, like, we might do things like similar, and the structure might be the same, but there's someone else in this group whose perspective is going to make us just a little bit better because of who they are and, like, where they came from. And so I reached out to one of the women in charge of this advisory council, and I was like, I just can't do the group lead. And there were other factors also, but one of them was, like, I just felt like that my voice was not the one that needed to be leading this particular group. And so I took a step back, and I have just been happy to just, like, sit and watch and be a cheerleader for this, because there's just so much more to learn. And when I look around this room and I see how motivated these people are, and even, like, with you, like, if you don't know what the immigrant population of Evansville looks like, it's either you know about it or you don't. There is no in between. Like,
no, you don't.
There is no, oh, well, we might have this group and we might have this group. Like, there are so many. But I think the part that maybe, like, hurts my heart is that there are people in Evansville who, like, they don't care. Like,
yes, there will be people.
I was sitting in a room with people, and I was like, hey, I gotta jet out in a few minutes because I have this advisory board. And they were like, what's your advisory board for? And I told them, and, like, the questions were basically just like, well, we probably need to be taking care of our people first. And there's so many other thoughts that can come out of that. Like, number one, what does our people mean? What does our people mean? Do you mean citizens? Do you mean just white people? Do you mean people here in Evansville? What does that mean to you? So instead of just saying anything, I turned it back and I said, so what are you doing to support the people in our community then? Because if that really is what you're telling me, is that I need to be focused on, what are you doing? And the table was just like crickets.
Silence.
Nobody said a word. And there was one individual who shared with me that they go and they visit, like, shut-ins, and they sit with people who are shut-ins, and they deliver food and they deliver meals. That's great. That is a demographic of people that needs to be loved on. And
absolutely,
I appreciate that you were able to come up with an answer for that. But the fact that everybody else at that table was silent
but had so much to
but
say.
had so much to say. And I truly, I got in my car to leave, and I was like, God, that was a nice little wink that you gave me. Like, I didn't come up with that question on my own. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That it truly felt like these are I'm just gonna address this. You know what I mean? God was just like, let me just handle this for just a minute, and it silenced everybody at that table, and then it caused me to even be reflective in the fact of like, what am I really doing? You know, like I just want to be a support through this, and I am thankful that like I get to be connected to people who know more than what I do, so that I can continue to learn, because so much of these conversations are still new. And who is to know what this year and the next 4 years will look like?
No,
for the people who are on the ground working for this type of work. And
absolutely, they're gonna change. They have so many changes that will happen over time to meet the needs, to meet the influx of what is to come.
Yeah,
I mean, we have a Haitian Resource Center now, but we don't have we have in the works the Immigration Welcome Center. So the challenges that they'll meet because of the need is so big.
Yeah.
I don't think many people understand that the need is so big.
Because it's not just we need a translator so they can have their paperwork done. Mm-hmm. There are mental health needs in this community, but there are no doctors. I just talked to the leader of the Marshallese community the other day. They do not have doctors. They do not have attorneys. They do not have social workers that are Marshallese. They're working on it. He is trying to reach out to Marshallese that live across the country and recruit them to bring them to Evansville so that they can serve these people. It's not just enough to where, like, yeah, this resource center is going to be huge because they will not have a one-stop shop. But if there's nobody there to translate, if there's no doctor, if when they walk in the room,
if they don't feel
welcome, they're going to stop seeking help. And there's just been some things, the leader of the Marshallese group and I have connected professionally and personally. And, he's just shared some things about, he is trying to get like Up Creek to stop some problems before they come down to the bottom and they become like real social issues. And there are just so many barriers.
You know, there's not enough resources in the schools, in the healthcare. You know, like I said, I ran a community health clinic, but we had so many interpreters that were live. Otherwise, we were using an iPad. That's not really personable.
No.
So, you know, we can only do so much. But, yeah, that resource center is going to be huge. It's awesome. It's great. And I just can't wait because, like, I can't say that the need is great. I don't know how many times I can say that.
Yeah, it is. So if this is something, if you're interested, both Michelle and I obviously have connections to be able to help you either have access to information, or if you feel like that you have a resource that would be beneficial to immigrant communities or people of color in the Evansville area, we can help you in that right direction.
Message me. Yeah. I'm sure I'm the only Michelle Christian in Evansville.
We would know by now.
I don't think there's another one.
Y'all would be fighting over the name.
I was your first.
You were like, you can go home. I don't know where you're from, but you can leave.
You're
can go back.
Not from Evansville, I tell you that.
You can go back there. I feel like when I was thinking about how this conversation was going to go today, I was like, it's just going to be one of those things where we're just laughing and you just hear us like in the background. Like, remember Silent Library on MTV? Did you ever watch that?
What was it?
Silent Library?
No.
Where they would have these like pranks assigned to them, but you couldn't let the decibel of your noise get above a certain level.
I think I remember that.
I was like, that's just going to be us. We're just going to be laughing, trying to tell stories the whole time today. Or I was like,
it got real deep there.
Yeah, we
just got really deep. But yeah, go on.
I was like, it's going to go either one of those two ways. Like, we're either going to talk about something that's going to require like a 1-800 number at the end of this, or it's just going to be like, it's going to be a yap fest. But I was like, well, this kind of is more important than anything that I had planned to talk about. But also, it is important, and it's something like we're both passionate about, which
Absolutely.
is so much of a thread of what I have been discussing with all my friends is like, what are you passionate about? And I know I mentioned this earlier, like I don't really like to talk about what people do for their jobs on this podcast because I think like it, to me, it's important that I enjoy what I do, and I feel like that it's a passion of mine. But I also have friends like they just work jobs to be able to like pay their bills so that they can enjoy all their passions outside of work. And something that I'm not doing a great job of, but like I'm trying to practice is like finding ways to like take what an idea of like my perfect day would be and implement that into a daily routine in my life. Some people may call those like disciplines for life. Other people may call them like rhythms of life. But I was just gonna like invite this like open canvas thought to you. Like, what would a perfect day look like to you?
Ooh, a perfect day is me getting paid but not working for anyone, because then I would just do what I want. But I'd probably, let me take it a step back. I could never be a stay-at-home wife or a stay-at-home mother because I'd be bored.
Sure.
So for me, I would be volunteering somewhere. And I used to volunteer so much as a college student that I just never was like at home. I either was at work, at school, or I volunteered. So I'd be volunteering. So I'd be volunteering at probably my favorite place, the Salvation Army, in the soup kitchen, or at one of their, why am I drawing a blank? It's where they come and get groceries. The food bank.
Yeah.
Like a food bank. The Salvation Army's food bank is where I usually would be. So I would say, yeah, I want to get paid still. But I'd be doing something that would be giving back at the same time.
Yeah.
If it was a perfect day. Yeah.
That's a good day.
And my employer now actually has, well, it's an incentive, but you have a volunteering day that you still get 8 hours of pay.
That's awesome.
Because they encourage us to get in our communities. But lo and behold, they don't know I'm already in the community.
They don't know. I think that's a good answer. Like, really think that's a good answer. I don't know that would necessarily be what I would put, like, for my answer. Yeah. But I kind of, like, made a note. A lot of people that I've asked that question to, it is, not that they don't want to get paid. I think it's just there conceptually that there would be money involved. But most of it is, like, I would want to be, like, wake up in the morning and I would want to do this, and then I would want to go do this, and like it's very curated, and it gives like perfect weekend vibes, honestly. Is what it comes down to. And I just thought, like,
oh, I'm gonna have that.
Oh, for sure.
But we just gonna do something
that
gives back to the community.
That like I'll even go back to like that month that I was like off work in between jobs. I was probably at my most anxious that I have ever been, being off work for 4 weeks.
Wow.
Because you're just at home with your thoughts, like alone.
And you can get lost in your head.
For sure. And like I like hyperfixate on things. And so I was just moving from like one hyperfixation to the next. And so for me, like the ideal day may just be a 1 day scenario for me, you know, like the idea of like you, I could not be a stay-at-home wife or stay-at-home mom. I think the idea of being able to me being the one like raising my kids on a day-to-day basis, like that sounds great to me.
Yeah.
I was so bored. Like I'm way too social of a person that I just don't know that I would be at my like
best.
Peak. Yeah. At my best. And so I like,
and props to the ones that are, especially stay-at-home moms, because that is a full-time job.
Yeah.
But I would just need something to state that I am still who I am.
Yes.
Because you can't lose yourself, you know.
I had that thought earlier that there are, and like it's women, because typically women are the ones that are staying home. And honestly, you know what? If somebody's staying home, it's gonna be the woman. But there is that piece. It doesn't happen to all of them. Like my best friend, she stays home with her kids. Like they're very well socialized. She has them out of the house on a regular basis. They're homeschooled. Like she is the epitome of what I would want to be if I was a stay-at-home mom. But she also is a little more willing to talk to strangers than what I am. She's a little less socially awkward than what I am. So I don't know that I would quite put myself out there as much. But I think that there's like a piece of just identity, and like if you are at home, that is your life then revolves around the people that you're serving. And like you said, you just lose a piece of who you are. And I think I like your answer of I would want to be out doing something. Like I'm getting paid. Like I know that there would be money coming in, so where like I'm not stressing about at the end of this perfect day. But like you're not just like sitting at home on the couch, or like you're not just like I would just go, oh, I'm gonna go shop for 4 hours and then I'm gonna do this, and like I'm not yucky. Anybody's perfect day, that's their perfect day.
Yes.
But I like that yours is functional, you know, that
I'm too social.
Yeah.
I would have to be out doing something.
One of my friends asked me a couple years ago, like, what would your perfect day be? And it was a very specific answer, and I don't feel like I'm in the place necessarily where it would be the same answer. But I remember thinking like this would be a perfect day. Maybe not the perfect day, but like a perfect day for me. But it was a weekend. It wasn't an actual like practical like way to like implement something into my life. And then it started making me think about my day-to-day life. Like what am I doing on a day-to-day life that allows for me to feel like this was a moment that was enjoyable and didn't just feel like work or routine. And then it like kind of led me down a rabbit hole of, and this is like super niche, but a lot of people who take ADHD medication only take it Monday through Friday. You want to know why? Because they are like, I have to get through the workday. But on Saturday and Sunday, you deserve to also be able to live a life where your brain is uncluttered
and function
on Saturday and Sunday as well. And I remember like my brother growing up, he didn't take it on the weekends because his didn't. One, probably to like stretch that prescription an extra week every month, you know, but also this rabbit hole that I ended up down was like, why are you not allowing yourself to be able to live on the weekends as well? And
absolutely.
It just like, it kind of hit me because I've taken ADHD medication in the past, and let me tell you, the days that I'm taking it, you are not going to find a more productive individual than Hannah Bedwell. But
she's at her best, y'all.
She's at her best, but I didn't take it on weekends. Nobody told me not to, but there's just that like, oh, on the weekends I don't need to worry about taking it. But like, you deserve to have a full weekend, and if you're giving that to your job, like why are you not giving it to yourself?
That's a great point.
Right? It just really has like made me think about it, like not just ADHD medication, but like what are you doing in your life that you will show up for your job for, but you won't show up for yourself?
Say it again.
I will
say it again,
like,
because that is something I've learned as I've aged. Setting those boundaries, you know, with yourself. My last job really helped me do that. I was in a dark place. So when I left, I was like, I'm not going to get that. I'm not going to do that. I deserve better. So yeah, you got to set boundaries. If you outpour more of yourself and expect other people to fill you up, you're not going to be satisfied. So you need to love on yourself so much more. And I tell you what, I've been doing that since I've been in my 30s. And like I told Hannah earlier, I'll be 35 in March, and these have been some of the best 5 years of my life.
I'm serious. Like, I know I'm only 31, but you've known me since I showed up here fresh off. Like,
I wasn't even 30 yet. I don't think.
No. I mean, I was 23 when I moved back here, and so we have known each other through almost all of my 30s, and soon to be almost all your. Or 20s, all my 20s, and soon to be almost all the way through your 30s.
Almost all my 30s.
And I remember that transition into my 30th year, thinking there is this like, I'm in my 30s, and so I'm about to get boring, but it's it's not though. And I think 25, like my 25-year-old self would be looking at my 30-year-old self, thinking like, what do you mean you don't have a social engagement 5 nights of the week? What do you mean?
Yes.
But now I'm like, no, but you're like so much healthier and
So much.
and
Boundaries.
yeah, like not even just for other people, but for yourself. Like learning where to say yes to things in your life for yourself and where to
Yes.
say no. And that has been huge.
Huge. When I say I am healthy mentally and physically and emotionally, not 100%, obviously. No one is. But compared to me at, when Hannah met me probably at 26, 25.
Yeah.
Probably. I was not healthy. I was not setting boundaries for myself. I was overextending myself to the point of exhaustion.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll say no.
Yeah.
I say no. And it's not because of anything that person has done. It's just that if I've overextended myself, because I do volunteer a lot still, and I work and I have, family and friends and relationships. So I'm like, I will say no, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Catch me on the next one. Still invite me.
I think that this is something that I have like recognized a pattern in my life is there's just like a lack of impulse control because I see something and I like it and I want it, and so then I either get it, I buy it, or I do it.
Yeah.
Like that's what I do. But I noticed. So I think everybody maybe knows, like, I've cut sugar from my life, and there's been so many benefits that have come from that. But one of the benefits that I wasn't thinking about is we were going to have a snack day at work, and everybody was going to bring in a snack. Well, I don't want to miss out on that. Like, I want to be able to still participate. So I just made something that would be compliant to me. And so I got on Pinterest and I was looking, and I just started saving everything. I was like, oh, this all looks so good. I'm going to go over here and put it in my Walmart cart so that I can. And I just had this moment of, guess what? That will all still be there tomorrow. If you want that tomorrow, sure, go ahead. We'll circle back around that tomorrow. Pick one thing. Pick something. And that, like, weird little small thing that people that have a ton of self-discipline and zero impulse, or like full impulse control, to them, that's just a no-brainer decision making for me. But that to me was like, that felt like maturity. That felt like a moment of like, there has been some growth in my like I can have all this. I just don't maybe need it all right now. And the same thing goes for like social calendar stuff.
Yes.
Or just getting excited about knowing that on Friday night I can go home and sit on the couch if I want.
Amen.
Like, I think that there's this I just want to live a life that's like full and fun and exciting, and there's just sometimes it feels like if you're not moving fast that it can't be full and fun and exciting.
Yes.
But like, fun to me also right now is so different than what it was a decade ago.
Yes, and time does not slow down.
No.
I've realized now, like, since I've slowed down, that time moves so fast. Like, time is truly a thief, and I don't regret many things, or, a lot of things, but I just wish I knew what I know now.
Yeah.
In my 20s.
Yeah.
Because it would be so much different.
I had a conversation with one of my friends last night, and we were talking about like decisions that we made in college, and you look back on, you're like, I was so dumb, and you were dumb. Like you were lacking, like you were truly ignorant, like in the best way possible, because we were babies. Like, our frontal lobes were not developed.
Not done.
We did not have life experiences, and so it's super easy to sit here and for me to be critical of who I was at 20 and 21, and even up until that frontal lobe was developed. Like, you look back and you're like, why didn't you choose better? But I'm also sitting here thinking, I have lived so many lives since then. Like, so many years have passed.
Absolutely. In another life, I would have been a dental hygienist if I didn't drop out of the program at 19.
You could still do it.
They were like, oh, you'll have a lot of homework. And I was like, oh, gotta go.
I don't know that I knew that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I said, oh, I can't come here. Got in and everything. Bless my heart. I took someone's spot.
Well,
you know, they only let in so many people. And I took somebody's spot. I know I did.
You know what, though? Here's the thing. Here's what I'll tell you. Anybody who's listening, listen to this. If that was you, if you applied to dental hygienist school and you did not get in, but
2009, we got to reference the year.
2009. 2009, if you applied to get into dental hygienist school here in Evansville and you did not get in, let me tell you something. That wasn't what God wanted you to do. Mm-mm. It wasn't. Because I bet you're doing something now that you love and you would have never known.
I am too, y'all. So whoever you are, I'm sorry. But we're still living our best lives.
For sure.
Everything happened for a reason. And look who I am now. I am out here.
Love who I am today.
Absolutely.
Love it. And I think that every year, like I think my 30s, to go back to where you mentioned this earlier, like I'm only 31. I will be 32 this year. Mm-hmm. But the last like year and a half, the last 3 years have really just been super, super formative to me. But the last year and a half, that turning 30 and just realizing I can be who I want to be and nobody's going to stop me. Like there's just like a freedom that comes with it, you know?
Yeah.
Is like, it's great. And I like it a lot. And one of my friends, she told me, I may have mentioned this on an episode and I may mention it a lot. I love it so much. She said, if there ever gets to be a place where you truly feel as confident about yourself as what other people think about you, she goes, you're going to be insufferable. And I'm like, we could get there. This could be the year. This could be the year that I become insufferable. I have a Pinterest board called Insufferable. And
she's warning you all now.
Like, you thought I was bad. You thought I was bad now. Just wait till I actually like myself. You wait till the heart and the head connect.
You won't be able to tell her nothing. Nothing.
I'm not going to fit through a door frame. My head is going to be so big.
I'm going to see you out and I'll be like, oh, that's where we are in life. I love it for you.
No, hopefully the Lord will keep me humble and
absolutely
in all the best ways. I wrote down on here, like I was trying to go back and think about my favorite My Show moments. Okay, there's a couple of things. Number one, this might be my favorite.
Is it the asthmatic?
She said, I was an inside child.
Almost to this day.
It's not, and I didn't even realize. I just knew once a month when we worked together, you showed up late. And I was like, what are you doing? You're like, I'm getting my shots. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You are so allergic to the air that to the outside.
Indoor, outside.
And I think this conversation where you said, quote, I was an inside child. We were talking about rollerblading. Because you couldn't breathe.
I was asthmatic.
You just sit at the window and watch the neighborhood kids outside playing.
My mom went to Sears and bought the biggest air purifier known to man.
Just put it right next to her bed.
Right, literally. It was at the foot of my bed, and I had the best air, but I had to stay inside.
I don't think about it ever. But then there's been times that I've like been with you, we've been outside, and within minutes you're wheezing. Like
wheezing.
Full on. And
when nightfall hits, don't be around me. I'm better now because I'm on year 4 of my allergy injections.
Good Lord.
So I just have until summer 26.
And then you're done?
Done.
You'll be healed?
Healed.
Wow.
Praise.
Okay, side note. Let me tell you about this nonsense. The American... We don't need to go down all the deep dives today of like crazy things in the world. I learned this. One of my friends recently was diagnosed with a fatty liver, or like not fatty liver disease quite yet, but they put him on this trial medication. Here's the nonsense, okay? It's not been FDA approved, but it's one of those where like because it's trial, he can use it. It has since then like taken away his fatty liver.
Oh.
But now because it's about to be FDA approved, he's not going to qualify for this medicine anymore because he, quote, doesn't have fatty liver anymore, which means his fatty liver will return, and then he will have to then deal with like the physical repercussions and then get put back on this medication. They will not let him continue.
Maintain.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Even though he should be grandfathered in.
He should be grandfathered in, but once it becomes FDA, he will.
Hannah, don't get me started on Big Pharma.
I know. It's so frustrating to me. I was just sitting there, and like in cartoons when it's like real quiet and they blink and you can hear that like blink, blink. That's what I felt like the room. Like... Yes. I was dumbfounded by it. But
that's very unfortunate.
It is very unfortunate. But I'm happy to know that by the end of next summer, he will be healed. We will be able to go to a wine walk and he will not die.
Good.
Do you see that Jaya is retiring?
You know we have a story about that. And I don't think I can share it because I'll laugh.
It was wild. I feel like I don't know who I was.
I don't know either.
It happened so fast.
So much happened.
I just remember
that's where we chose to eat.
Yeah, it's the only time I've ever eaten there.
That was maybe my third time. And I think I sat down and I said, I don't want to eat here.
No. And she didn't even bring us menus. Do you remember that? She didn't bring us menus. She goes, you guys know what you want? And I said, I looked at you.
I was...
And you
told me to walk around with those sunglasses on all day and I couldn't see a thing. They were prescription, but I couldn't take them off. Because then I wouldn't be able to see the menu. But I was like...
Because you didn't bring your glasses with you.
No, we had too many glasses of wine.
You want to know why? Because the wine walk... Listen, downtown events, you smartened up when you cut back on the amount of coupons that y'all are giving out.
You gave us 4?
For $20, you were getting 4 pours.
Full-size glasses.
And let me tell you, when you drink 4 of those in 45 minutes, you are in
shambles.
Trouble.
Shambles. I was in shambles. Was sweating.
So hot. I wanted to just I had that cute little dress on. I wanted to just take it off and sit down. I was so hot. Anyway, all because of Jaya's.
All because of Jaya's and Lori.
But that's the night that I remember. I equate that night with finding out that Samuel's was going to be opening because we walked back by, and Lori, being Lori, popped her head in and said, "What are y'all doing in here?" And they were like, "We're opening a restaurant." Now, I love Samuel's.
Love it. I haven't been in like 2 weeks, so I need to go.
You know what? That's how you know it's time because it's been like 2 weeks and you got to get back in there.
I got to get back in there. One day I left my ID at home, and
they know.
The lady was our favorite lady. She has glasses, and she usually wears her hair in a ponytail. We and Deontay and I went in there, and the guy was like, "Oh, I need to see your ID," and I was like, "I don't have it," but I was like, "It's fine, I'll leave," because I understand it's 21 and up.
Yeah.
And you can't verify, even though, look at me, like I don't look that young. But that lady came over and was like, "Oh no, like she's fine."
Yeah. One of my friends that I go there regularly with, she goes there even more regularly than what I do. Mm-hmm. At this point, I think like you just got to pull the card out so that they know in case somebody else is watching, you know. But she's like, "Hey, welcome back. It's great to see you all again." Like they know you. I love it. I love it so much. I feel like I'm not in Evansville when I go and eat there.
Oh no, we're in a pocket.
It's nice.
We
went to the cold open together. Do you remember that? Or the soft open, not the cold
did.
open. This ain't an episode of TV.
We did. We got the Brussels sprouts.
Gosh, those Brussels sprouts are so good.
Yes. Have you had their cheesecake?
No. I bet it's real good.
Something fierce. What did the people say? They make a mean cheesecake.
Make you slap your mama?
Because I've had stuff that I didn't want to write home about. I said, "Oh, you can have that back."
No. Everything I've had at Samuel's
absolutely
has
chef's
been great.
kiss.
It's all been so good. Okay, well, I don't know how we ended up all the way over here in this part of the world, but Big Pharma and the wine walk and Jaya's.
But I'm sorry to hear that about Jaya's.
I am too. But I didn't realize, but I read an article in Evansville Living about her the other day, and like she's lost her son and her husband in like the last decade or so.
Whoa, Hannah.
I just can't believe that she's gone as
long as she has.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, no. Okay.
I
That's
think
enough.
That's all right. We're done. We don't need to have any more emotional reactions about Jayas.
No.
Oh shoot. Okay. All right.
What was your other My Show story? Was
Oh.
that it?
There was like 3 other things. You say so much, and I have started saying it, but it doesn't, I don't feel like it comes off as authentic
I
as
don't even know.
you say, I hollered, or I was hollering.
I'm screaming.
If I'm texting you and I get I was hollered or I know you did. I know that it may have not even come out as a noise. It's a body posture. I'm gonna throw my head. We should have been on camera. That would have been it. It's a body posture. You don't have to make any noise. I just know, like, the head goes back, and there's like a head shake, and then with that,
You remember when I would scoot my chair out and I'd look at you from across the room in our.
Yes, because her offices were perfectly angled. Every once in a while, you would just see her head take a little break.
Like, I know you heard that.
Especially when Loudmouth McGee would come over there and train him.
Gosh.
I don't know what you called her. I could probably think about it if I
You
could.
could think about it and you text it to me. Because then I'm gonna say I screamed. I'm screaming.
I was hollering. Okay, and then any face that you make. I want to get one of those shirts. It's like, how are you feeling today? And it's got like 12 different pictures of your face, and I can just point to it. Because they're just so
They're
good.
very authentic.
Oh.
Because I honestly don't know what they look like half the time.
Oh, they're...
Because it's like an authentic reaction of...
There's no poker face. You are 100% authentic in whatever it is that you are wanting us to understand about how you're feeling in that moment. I love it. I don't have...
usually I would wheel myself and make a face.
You would.
And then I throw my body back because you would get it.
That one. That one.
Ooh-wee.
There's just... It's...
I'd just walk through and I'd be like...
It's true. And then we already talked about the last one, but it was like...
You're giving all my secrets away.
People just know. If they know Michelle Christian, they know the face comes with the name.
Yeah. Because, oh, okay.
You also, I can tell when you are like done with a conversation. Like, most people, you can watch their feet, like whatever direction people's feet are pointed. Mm-hmm. No, you just like, it's like a full shutdown, and the facial expression just disappears, and it's a,
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, it was good to see. It was like you. I know when you were wrapping up a conversation. I can tell. The last one was more serious. We already talked about this. I just think, in all the years that we've known each other, I think me being able to understand different perspectives through like conversations that you and I have had has just it's been really nice. And I'm somebody who talks a whole lot more than I listen, but I think that like through your perspective, our conversations and just what the world has looked like over the last 5 years has been like really, really nice. And so as much as I do want like a shirt with your faces on them, I'm also like genuinely just as thankful that you like let me ask questions and know that it's coming from a place of like, I just want answers as as opposed, because I'm ignorant to some things, like celebrating MLK Day. I had to ask because I don't know.
Tell them what you asked me.
This morning, somebody asked me if we are supposed to, like, we as white people are supposed to, like, greet African Americans on MLK Day as, like, Happy MLK Day. And she said, no, we do not want that. Now, the question was asked at me, and then I told them, I said, well, I'll find out this afternoon and let you know. Because we need to know. And this friend was coming from like a genuine place.
Another genuine question.
But there are not, I don't have that many African American friends.
And to be honest, I was taken aback because I was like, really? Like, someone thought that? Like, I was just not like, ha ha ha. Like, I was just like, oh, like, no.
No, we don't want
Like,
that.
I've never, no, it's not necessary.
No. But Juneteenth.
Yeah, happy Juneteenth, y'all.
Happy Juneteenth. We will celebrate that.
Absolutely.
Everybody should be celebrating that.
And know what it means. Know what it means.
You know what? Step number 1, know what it means. Step number 2, then celebrate it.
Yes.
Because there is some delusion over what it is. I'll put a link. When I post this episode, I'm going to put a link to the NAACP's page with information on why we celebrate Juneteenth.
Absolutely, because we're going to have a Freedom Fund banquet.
Are we?
We are. NAACP will be hosting their annual Freedom Fund banquet on Juneteenth this year. So I am very excited.
And I think, it's on Thursday this year.
It is.
Okay. That is good to know. Get your tickets. We'll plug those. Listen, this has been great. Your Nespresso coffee, also amazing. I'm super pumped. I don't have to work tomorrow, so it doesn't matter that I had a double shot.
I'm still in my pajamas, and I don't work tomorrow either. I'm going to put a fresh set on.
My favorite soft hoodie. It's great.
It looks very soft and cozy.
It's very soft. I wasn't able to wear it like 25 pounds ago, so super excited to be here today. Well, listen, thanks for inviting me into your home.
You are welcome.
This went exactly like I thought that it would. And yeah, I am excited to for us to both get back in the gym on a more regular basis.
I'm cycling now.
That's right.
And I do TRX now.
I love that for you.
But I will always stop in and do a Wednesday night.
Oh, Wednesday night boxing. Bringing Fallon back into the conversation here.
Epic.
Honestly, I'm telling you, if
I'm surprised they let me in the doors, to be honest.
I think there were some weeks that she saw us come in and she was like, this is either going to be the worst or the best class of my life. We were either there to be the most serious,
literally,
or nothing was getting done.
But none compares to the boxing fitness back in 2017, 2016.
You know what?
Literally, I thought I was training for the military.
You know what? I don't want to drop her name because she's a lot more secretive than she lets on. But our mutual, your neighbor here, our friend.
Oh yeah,
my parents' dog grandmother,
Millie.
She
got some hands.
Yeah. I remember thinking
she gonna listen to it. So
okay, good.
You know you got hands.
Yeah.
Even though she's getting up there, she's acting like she don't.
No, I was never like afraid of her because like she's always so chill. But I was like, I would.
Yeah, nope. I ain't squaring up with her.
No, not at all. Like just. And like, was just good at it, you know? Just really enjoy it.
She's too tall. Wouldn't even be a fair fight.
All you have to do is just stick her hand out on my forehead. We're done. I would just be swinging like one of those kids. No, would recommend if you just need a good solid workout, go to a YMCA boxing class. It's not what you think it is. It's not like we're training for nothing. It's actually a lot of fun. The music's usually really good. Just has a good playlist. You got to go on Wednesday nights, though.
You got to go on Wednesday.
You got to go on Wednesdays.
I gifted her a playlist.
Oh, did you?
I think she's still using that playlist.
You got to share it with
gifted her.
All right. Well, everyone, Michelle.
I'm glad everyone got to know me. I know a lot of people know of me, but maybe not know me.
Now they're going to know you. That's been like
one of I already know a lot of people.
Listen, I think that's my favorite thing about this is that people who either want to support me and just listen, or people who like want to know more about the people that I know, and the people who like know you, or like I want to know what's Michelle out here saying. So, all right, everyone, thanks for listening. Have a great evening, Michelle. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Bye.
If y'all see me out, you can walk up to me. I have random people walk up to me all the time.
You should be like, you know Hannah Bedwell? Yeah.
I'd be like, I do.
All right.
Peace out, y'all.